And good afternoon. This is Dr. Kimberly Barrington, and you are rolling on the road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. Dave is, hold on, here he comes. He's coming in the studio shortly. He's on a mini assignment today. Yep. He's on a mini assignment today, but he will be rolling in fairly shortly. But we want to say thank you so much to the Deaf and Hard of Hearing for rolling with us. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. For the last 17 months. Wow, we have been on a journey. I tell you, we have been in almost 30 states, and we have been in, wow, about 75 cities. And we have reached more than 49,000 people. So we are so excited. But we're really excited today about our guest. Hello, Mr. Malik Sullivan. How are you today?
Dr. Kimberly Barrington, good afternoon. How are you?
I had to figure out what was I going to put on because I know that you were coming with your A game.
Listen.
But this is just our first show for today, so forgive me. But I do have, a little bling on the hand and on the arm, and
yes.
cute little glasses, and
It's and, always fabulous, always fabulous, and I love it.
But I'm excited. Well, I really wanted Dave to hear this part because it's always like my most favorite. Is when we talk about a self-directed life. And one of the things that I have really appreciated about you is how you have just carved your own space out in the world. And you. That's all I can say. We met in 2016 at the Women's National Convention. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. It is the Churches of God in Christ, the Grand Old Churches of God in Christ.
Yes. Yes.
And we met at the Women's Convention when it was in Detroit in 2016. And I just remember coming out of the hotel. Oh my gosh, had the best room overlooking the water. And from my window, when you look out, you can see Canada across the way. Yes. So I was up there on the high rise. I think I was on floor 120. Here we go. Good afternoon, Mr. Dontrell Sims. How are you? All the way from Benton Harbor, Michigan. We want to say thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes.
And I remember coming down, and right out in front of the hotel, I saw this man. When I tell you, just looked fabulous. I think that's an understatement. That's all I can say. That's an understatement that you looked fabulous.
Oh, thanks. Yes.
Understatement. I mean, I have this thing, especially about shoes, because I don't have to walk in them.
Uh-huh.
So they always look like they just fresh out the box.
Uh-huh.
So I always start at people's shoes first, because I don't care how good you look. If your shoes is dusty, the rest of you is dusty.
Listen, tell it like it is.
I was always told you can tell a lot about a man by his shoes. If his shoes are in good repair and he shines them. But I think that part of that comes from my Navy training, where we had to put a spit shine on our shoes. We had to have a shine on that belt. They would check our belt buckle. And of course, once you got all the way in, that was in boot camp. Once you got in, you could buy shoes that were already shined and
most definitely.
Belt buckles that were already glistening. So, but there was something about that elbow work of polishing a shoe and seeing your work, and then making sure that your belt buckle was shiny, and they would tell you that your gig line had to be straight. So, being 17 years old, going into the military, there are just some things that have always stuck with me over these 30 some years now. But
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I did, I looked, I saw them shoes, they were shining. I said, oh my Lord, yes. And then I went all the way up, nice crease in the pants, nice gig line, and the tie, whew, and the hat to match. I said, okay, I'm done. I don't know who this man is. I said, but I'm gonna get to know him. He gonna be my friend.
Yes, yes,
I
yes,
just
yes.
knew, that you had to be my friend.
Oh, yes. Well, I appreciate the connection that you and I had because again, we did meet at the National Church of God in Christ Women's Convention and in Detroit, Michigan, 2016. I do remember meeting you, but what I will say is what I um, will remember is official night, which was Friday night. We were at the main service, and I'm telling you, Bishop Blake had preached a mighty word, and after that, we just went on in. But you were in your wheelchair, and I came to get a praise with you, and we just went in together. And I will cherish that moment and that memory for a very long time. So again, I appreciate the connection. And then after that, you have patronized my business, Heaven's Boutique and Fashion. So
Oh my gosh, yes.
yes, yes, I appreciate your support and everything. And again, here we are today. I'm 30 years old, and not only that, still doing things, within outside the four walls of the church, inside the four walls of the church. And I'm excited on tonight that it is my show, the Malik Show Live, which we debuted September of 2018. This week, well, I believe the 21st was the day we started. But 3 years we've been doing this. We had some amazing guests, and again, um, the tonight is a very special night because it's my life story documentary, and I'm honored to have you as one of the interviewers. So it's I'm looking forward to that. But it's
Well,
just
you
glad
know
to.
what? You know what we can do? Hold on. I think we may have something here that we can share with the people without giving too much away.
Yes.
Here we go. And
Wow. 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 Wow.
yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna say this, and then again, I had received.
There we go.
Oh my. So back to that, I had received that trailer 2 weeks ago when I had got a phone call saying that they want that it's official. But when I saw that trailer, I just failed to. I just had to drop the phone down because it was good. Not only that, it was very touching to have my mother and my grandmother, her mother, which we lost in 19, and we'll be honoring her tonight. Actually, speaking of her, this is her chair that I'm sitting. Well, actually, it was my great grandmother's, my grandfather's mother. Then my grandmother. You know, I can just remember her. You're just resting and doing all kinds of things and talking to me. And but tonight, today, right now, and tonight, she'll be honored. So yeah. But that trailer is so awesome. I will cherish that till I close my eyes for the final time. Kim, that is just so amazing. Yes.
Well, we want to say welcome, Dave.
Yes.
Well, thank you. That was awesome. As I was able to watch that is some awesome work, Malik. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so kindly. Thank you.
Well, you know, Dave, he epitomizes living a self-directed life, and that's the show, as we can see scrolling down at the bottom, is Malik Sullivan, living a self-directed life. Dave, can you give us a little bit of background on how Disability Advocates of Kent County kind of work that into their mission and what they try to infuse into those who come as clients?
Well, well, thank you for that question. I mean, the two critical parts of the mission are first, as you point out, is that self-directed. Where do you want to go? What are your goals? You know, my opinion as it relates where you should go, Malik, is worth what you've paid for it. And, you know, because it's your life, you know, and that idea of self-directed is, you know, we had the previous mission statement had a statement that said a full and exciting life. And so for some people, it's like, well, what does excited mean? You know, because for some people, self-directed could be a nice, quiet life with a book and a beverage of their choice. I'm just going to say your life might not be that.
A beverage of your choice? Yeah.
Well, maybe with the beverage of your choice, but definitely not quiet with a book. You know, you are going to be out there. And again, the word that comes to mind is flamboyant in an awesome way.
Oh,
You know, it's not, you know, showy. It's like show. I don't know the word other than that. I was just at a sad event, but that being actually was joyful too, because it was a celebration of an awesome life. But then again, so self-directed. And then the second part of our mission is simply to work alongside, because if it's your goals and you're willing to work, we're willing to help. But if it's your goals and we're doing all the work, and it's make no difference. So anyways, I just loved, again, when I came into the studio, seeing that trailer and again, just seeing that expression of beauty and joy. Yeah, keep rocking it.
oh yes, I appreciate that. Thank you very kindly. Yes.
I think that, you know, as I was saying, that I think you really epitomize what it is to live your own self-directed life and to make a decision, whether it's the type of clothes that you wear, the people that you want to be around, the things that you choose to make. You are an entrepreneur, and saying no matter what anybody else thinks about it. There is a piece, Dave, that I can't necessarily show, but there was a business that he had with these sunglasses. As I like to wear some cool glasses.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
that I hope that he revisits again. But can you tell us what day, if you remember, because I know that you are definitely one that keeps tracks of days and times.
Mm-hmm.
But can you tell us the day and the time that you woke up and you decided that I want to live my own self-directed life? I don't care what other people think or how they feel about it. Um, if I want to wear an orange pair of pants with a yellow shirt and polka dot shoes, I'm going to do that. Do you remember that day, that moment, that hour?
So if you let me understand the question. So basically what you're asking is, are you talking about for the sunglasses business, or are you just talking about me?
No. Everybody has a moment.
Um,
Like for me,
uh-huh.
when I got in this wheelchair, I
Mm-hmm.
hated it. I cried. I was depressed. And the day that Trina came to my home, she works for Disability Advocates of Kent County. And
Mm-hmm.
she said she did the intake. We talked. And she came in. She told me that I had to come into her office, which was a big deal for me to have to leave the house. And when I went to her office, she handed me this book. I mean, it's no surprise that today is the first day of Art Prize, but that was the first thing that she gave me to do. She said, "You are going to live your own self-directed life, and what you're going to do is you're going to find somebody. If you don't have a friend, you need to make a friend.
Mm.
Have them help you get on the bus." I said, "The bus? Oh, I don't ride the bus. I don't do that." And she was like, "Well, you're going to do it today." And so she says, "Here's some tickets, and it will take you straight into Art Prize. It'll drop you off. They can
Yes.
put you around." And she says, "And you are going to engage in life." And so that was my first thing that I did to accept who I was now as a person with a disability in a wheelchair, going
Yes.
to a really nice function. I mean, Art Prize is attended by, maybe 50,000 people. And there are people who enter in from all across the United States and different countries. There are people who have flown as far as from China to participate. And this is what she said was going to be my first thing. So it was kind of like my debut of living my self-directed life. And just the freedom that I felt, because I didn't want people to see me in this wheelchair like this, being assisted, and I'm used to being up and popping and clicking in my 6-inch heels and living my own life, doing my own thing. And now you want me to present myself to the world as another person now.
Yes.
So I remember that moment, that I got on that bus. I have called a friend and we got on that bus together. And when we got off, and she pushed me off into the art world, and I was just, whoa,
Wow.
wow, wow.
Ain't that something? Well,
So what was that moment for you?
so here is my thing. So if any moments, I'ma always say I've always been different. I've always stood out. I've always been kind of to myself and things like that. But by what you're saying, I'm gonna say possibly, let me see. I will say this from a child up until what, high school, I've always like tried to blend in. I never, try to stood out or whatever. I'm gonna say around 2010, um I think I came out my shell just a little bit as far as um dressing fashion wise. I was what, 19 years old, because I graduated at 18, so about, yeah, 19 years old. Just started, doing my own thing as far as fashion, whether it was the church or whether it's out in public. I've always kept to myself, but I've always, never been around a big, large crowd or whatnot. I was just say around that time, but definitely between my childhood till I was 18, I've always been undergirded and wouldn't do certain things because I didn't know the backlash or whatever. But when I was 19, I can say I started really doing what Malik wants to do and stuff pretty much.
Awesome.
Dave, do you live your own self-directed life? Do you?
Well, I get myself in trouble, and then Malik, I have the job here at Disability Advocates, and it, when you're raising dollars and things, that has its own time schedule that I don't dictate. And then I have a part-time job as a county commissioner, and that's had me by the ear schedule wise. But that's part of the self-direction, is that, it's a type of community service that I feel called to. And so I went for it, and, the voters keep putting me back. My colleagues, sometimes they feel uncomfortable when I smart off, make a comment. But at the same time, yeah. So I had some fun yesterday at a meeting, but yeah, it's that opportunity, and the wisdom of Trina. I hope you found a great group of people to hang out with, Malik, because I can only imagine in the fashion world, everybody's a critic except me, because I don't know anything about fashion.
Well, you look pretty fashionable today, though. You have
I kept the tie on for Dr. Kimberly. I saw the promo. So Malik, do you have a great group of people to support you?
Mr. Dave, I'm gonna be very honest with you on this broadcast, and I'm sure I will mention it later in my documentary tonight. I currently, have a selective that I deal with. I'm not out there. However, I would always love to be around people because I'm a people person. I like to, in my words, I like to fellowship. I like to meet people. I like to get out there, not be in negative crowds and stuff like that. But like I say, any person or people that I have bumped into, it's always been a great fellowship. It's always, we kept in touch and go out the next time and so on and so forth. But no, as of right now, I'm just to myself, and basically certain friends of mine that really, really know me and that deals with me like that, they're out of town, so it's hard to, schedule something to, meet them or they come here or whatever. But here, where I am, I'm just, pretty much alone, and so it is what it is. Mm. Yeah, so.
Yeah. And did you already mention where are you right now?
I'm born and raised born in Washington, D.C., but raised in Maryland. So DMV is my home. And, I just love.
We're back on the East Coast again, Dave.
All right.
Yes, East Coast. But however, like I said, I have ventured out. I lived in North Carolina for about a year or two, and that was okay. I lived in California. Now I will say this: California, I believe, I had moved there in 2001, and that will be mentioned later on tonight. I enjoyed. It was very different, as in the people, the style, the people's personality, or how they think, or what they do. I will say, as far as music is concerned, they listen to music like way back in the 90s versus here in the East Coast. Anything that comes out new, they're right on it just like that. So that, and California, they're very, I definitely have made some friends there. I have a best friend of since high school that I'm, still keep in touch to this day. I regret to leave them down there, but hey, I had to come back home. I just miss being here at home and family and so on and so forth.
Hmm.
I think that was a really great question, Dave. One of the things I think that assisted me with my transition into my new normal, as I think that has been such a word in the last 19 months. I want to go back to normal. And I think that was something that I struggled with is what is my normal? Because life won't ever be the same way again for me. So I had to create a space for myself. And one of the things that I was able to do was find a community such as disability advocates and DisArt, but probably more so disability advocates of Kent County, where I felt acceptance. And even when we were not together, I felt the strength of that community, that when I went other places, I could take it with me. And I felt comfortable and I felt secure, even if I was the only one who was like me.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Yeah, that strength definitely shows through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I'm grateful for, and I guess that would be my wish for you, Malik, is finding a community that will continually support you, come alongside of you, and will continue to push me. That's one of the things that I have appreciated about Pastor Dave here. That's just my own personal name for him. Especially when I look at where we started together. We started about 2014, I believe, and maybe even a little bit earlier, because my youngest is 27 years old. So it's been at least.
He's not that old. Quit lying.
He's 27. He is.
Lying on the screen right in front of us, Malik. Her baby is not 27.
He is 27. And we came into his family first with his brother. And so we met his brother first, and then we just kind of continued on from there. And we've all grown kind of close. But it is nice to have an environment where you are loved and you are accepted, and they give you the ability to thrive, to really thrive. And I think my husband said it best. He was just like, wow. When on, was it Tuesday, the big reveal, this has just been the big reveal week. Oh my gosh. And I get to be a part of all of it. That Disability Advocates of Kent County made the big announcement about being a part of Special Olympics Michigan and announcing their capital campaign. And he says, I was in the hallway and my husband came up, babe, your name is on the screen. He says, is my name on there? I said, babe, you're gonna have a room named. He said, oh, well, I like that kind. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I get a room. I said, you get a whole room that has your name on it. He said,
exactly.
But to watch the video, and he says, wow. He says, look at you up there talking. And I'm just going to say this to you, Malik, is that I didn't know, and I'm not going to get emotional, but I think I might. I just remember asking God, why was I like this? And I didn't like it. And I cried. I remember sitting, my caregiver had just bathed me and was getting ready to put me in the bed for the evening because I couldn't do anything for myself at that given time. And as she lifted me to, we had a hoist, and she put me in the hoist to put me in the bed. And I just said, I know that God didn't just leave me here for this type of life.
Yes.
I just,
well, and I have to correct Dr. Kimberly. She wasn't speaking on the video. She was leading on the video. Because Dr. Kimberly, continues to appropriately call out and lead our community in so many ways. and part of what we do as disability advocates, and then alongside 100 Shades of Disability, where we do continue to, again, encourage and support others as they define that self-directed life. And of course, the self-directed life can have many acts to it. It's not like, okay, I'm going this way. Well, you can then change this. It's many paths, many off ramps, and then see how life evolves.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. It is something, I definitely totally agree with you saying.
Yeah. So what kind of evolutions have you been experiencing especially during these COVID times?
Well, you know what, Mr. Dave? I must say, COVID-19. Okay, so I will just say, in a way, I kind of, with the pandemic going on, I've been doing a lot of self-searching, I'm gonna say, for me. Um, I know before COVID, I was just going through some things I did not know if I was gonna lash out on somebody or what. But however, like I say, um, I definitely have grown. For one, I'll say this: my business is Heaven's Boutique and Fashion, and like I say, we are a business where we make church hats and fascinators and so much for the women and men as well. Um, I did not know with the pandemic that churches and conventions was going to be shut down, and people don't know that this business is my bread and butter. This is how I live, and I just said, God, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. How am I gonna do that? But God had told something in my spirit. Do a Facebook Live. And I would do Facebook Live, like if I was at the meetings and stuff, because that's how I've gotten known within my organization. But to do live with my business and showing my merchandise, hey, but I did it, and it became a success during COVID. I dropped prices down. Women and men would still support me and stuff, so that's what I'm thankful for. Um, I have definitely re-examined myself during this pandemic. I had met individuals that kind of shown me the other part of life, not just the good times and stuff, but just really life itself, especially going into a new era. And, like I say, it's been tough. Well, like I say, it's been something. And I'm just so grateful of where I am now, and so on and so forth.
Well, my memory today ain't what it was yesterday, but I think it was Socrates, 2,400 years ago, who said, a self-reflected life, is a non-self-reflected life isn't worth living. So taking those times to reflect on where you're at, where you're going, where you're not going, and adjusting accordingly, that's to be honored.
Yeah.
People who are like, what are the answers? It's like, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
You're right.
We are now at the 4:33 hour. We want to say thank you so much for tuning in to Rolling on the Road with Dr. Kimberly and Dave. We want to say thank you to the Deaf or Hard of Hearing for rolling with us over the last 18 months. And we want to say thank you to Disability Advocates of Kent County and 100 Shades of Disabilities for supporting us and doing what it is that we do best. And today it is expressing and allowing expression for those who want to live a self-directed life. We are excited. Our guest today is Mr. Malik D. Shabazz Sullivan, all the way from the DMV. Many of you know what that is. Yes, Maryland. We're over there on the East Coast. We want to say hey to Shayna Thomas, who lives over there in Bel Air, Maryland. who watches us on a regular basis. We want to say hello to Gina Hodges Cornett, who is in the DMV area, who is watching on today. Miss Vertanji, who's watching all the way from Detroit, Michigan. So we thank you guys so much. And we had on here Mr. Dontrell Sims, who's watching from Benton Harbor, Michigan. So we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. And we're just talking about that self-directed life. And on tonight at 7 p.m., we are going to see the life documentary of Mr. Malik Sullivan. So tune in. You can watch it live on 100 Shades of Disability, as well as Dr. Kimberly Von Barrington, my personal page. And I am so honored to be one of the interviewers on tonight. And we just know that you have a very special announcement that will be saved for the show. We won't give that away. But we just want to say thank you. Thank you in advance for your truth. We want to say thank you in advance for living out loud.
Oh, yes.
And know that you have a community here with Pastor Dave and I, and here at Rolling on the Road, that we support you in what you're doing. And we're excited for you and glad just to have the opportunity for you to be here on today. And you look amazing.
Thank you, Dr. Kimberly. I appreciate that. And I'm just so excited on this day alone. I will never forget this day. And yes, I appreciate you for having me on your platform on today, and to Miss Catherine and Mr. Dave. Pleasure meeting both of you. And yes, as Dr. Kim say, please feel free to join the Malik Show live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. My life story documentary, and me celebrating 3 years as a talk show. Oh, well, it's more than that, but 3 years for the Malik Show live, and I'm excited, and I look forward to another year, and I'm just yet grateful.
Awesome.
You have met some pretty auspicious folks over the years. So will we get to see some of those pictures on tonight?
Yes, you will see everything that I have been in and been involved with in the last 30 years is going to be out on tonight. So you don't want to miss this. And like I say, I have definitely been getting calls and messages and stuff about, basically what everybody's wondering is why and what. And I just say, well, I'm 30 years old. I have been through so much in my life. People just see Malik, the Kojic man, the dresser, the fashionista, whatever you want to say, but they need to really understand my ups and downs, and they need to understand where I came from and how did I become successful. And everybody has a story, but I feel with my story, I pray that it touches somebody. I'm doing this to really help somebody, because I'm sure it's people out there that's going through things and stuff. I just consider myself an inspiration and a sacrifice, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to, this evening and what's going to happen and what's going to transpire.
That is awesome. Awesome. It just resonates again with where I came from. Again, it's like, yeah, folks, I'm putting it out there. I feel called to do it. I'm doing it. And yeah, that in and of itself gives me opportunity for inspiration.
Oh yes, so it's just an awesome road, and it's going to get better and better. I believe that, most definitely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dave, I have a question for you from your experience. When we talk about disabilities, and sometimes there are persons who may have a disability that is imperceivable,
mm-hmm.
and we talk about when is the appropriate time to disclose that, especially as it relates to, our community, when we're on a job. And so I think that as part of a self-directed life, that there are times that you have to reveal something about yourself that maybe the world doesn't know about you. But you said, you know what? I think that it's time. What has been some of your best practices in walking persons through that when it's time to do a reveal?
I mean, the biggest thing is, well, first and foremost, it's what you said moments ago about, when it's time, and if you're feeling that it's not time, like, you allude to a job interview, it's not required. You don't have to disclose, anything related. It's, can you do the job? Yes or no? And if the answer is yes, you can say, tell me how, but you don't have to say, well, and oh, by the way, I have an imperceptible disability. Don't have to do that. And then when people do choose to disclose, for us, it's, asking for that support.
Yes.
Especially back with us, if it's in an employment situation and you believe you're being treated differently, some people call that discrimination. If you're being discriminated against because of your disability, bring it to other people's attention and then help frame the way you bring that forward. If you're being discriminated against because of your gender or because of your race, bring that forward too. Now, we're not going to help as much when it comes to your gender and race, but we have community partners who do. And so it's like, if you're being discriminated against, find the folks who are going to help support you through that. And I mean, what comes to mind was, the powerful testimony yesterday at the Senate. Simone Biles, testified about how the FBI and USA Gymnastics and the American Olympic, USA Olympics totally failed all these young women who came forward. And it wasn't discrimination. It was just straight on, sexual, what's the word I'm missing here? It was a crime. And what this person did, and he's in prison now. However, the young women that have to live the rest of their lives with these emotional scars because the people who, they chose to treat them differently. Oh, he's doing good for you. Leave him alone. So anyways, keep asking for that help. I've been saying a lot lately to my coworkers, my children, trust your gut. If your gut says this doesn't feel right, it's probably not. It might not be, illegal, but it might be something saying, I'm just not coming back.
Yeah, he gave me that same advice last week.
It's my go-to. It's my go-to, Malik. It's my go-to.
What? Dr. Kimberly, trust your gut. Yeah, trust your gut. I said,
that's all you gotta do.
Yes.
He said, trust your gut. Trust your gut. Exactly. But we have just a couple of minutes left. Can you give us any final words, Mr. Sullivan?
Well, my final words for this. Well, first of all, I enjoyed myself for this. I'm gonna say preparation. My final words is, I just am just so thankful of where I'm at now in my life. Just so much, I'll say serene, and so much, just everything just going the way I expect and want for it to go. I thank the viewers for watching on today. However, I'm very nervous. My hands is kind of moist because I'm really anxious on what's going to transpire on this evening. Like I say, I believe as of tonight, I will be free of some things, some things in my past, some things in my present. But I just continue on and do what I need to do in life and, put a smile on people's faces.
Awesome.
Pastor Dave?
A huge theme this week has been gratitude, and I'm going to continue that theme of gratitude. Thank you so much, Malik, for your witness of, I'm putting it out there. That's,
Yes.
I'm called to put it out there. I'm putting it out there. And yeah, my prayer is that you do find enough folks that help you continue to shine that way.
Yes, most definitely.
Dr. Kimberly.
Well, I just want to say thank you. I am grateful. I agree, Dave. I have been grateful all week. When I look at where I've come from and where I am and all that I'm participating in and with, and how grateful to reach so many people across the United States. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for the trust that people have in me because of the phone calls that I receive. And I think that the call that I answered when Malik said, "Hey, I want you to do this and I want you to do this with me." And I said, "Well, you want to prep on the show first?" I said, "To get you ready." And he said, "Absolutely." And so there have been some great folks that have been with me. Dave, you're at the top of the list, that have walked me through some great things to get me to the place where I am now. And I will say to you, Malik, and anyone who is watching, you need to find your community that will love and accept you unconditionally and will hold your hand.
Yes.
And will be with you in the good, the bad, and the ugly. That was that Clint Eastwood, the good, the bad.
Clint,
Am I dating myself?
Clint
The good, the
Eastwood.
bad, and the ugly. But I'm grateful for the vehicle that we have here with Rolling on the Road, that we have been able to share some moments with people across the country, and be there for them, that this is a safe environment to be able to be public. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, that to discuss something so private publicly, but definitely, as we saw on yesterday, as those young ladies were testifying before the Senate committee, how important it is to have a safe public place to be able to tell your truth and have someone to believe you and to receive you and carry you all the way through. And so just know that here at Rolling on the Road, we're here to hear you, to carry you through whatever life has presented to you. And this has been just an awesome week. And we will see you on next week. And if you have not gotten your shot, please, if you are able to be vaccinated, please make sure that you get vaccinated. If you are not able to, don't forget to mask up and keep everybody safe. It is your duty. It is.
You
To
are
be
so right.
your brother's keeper. All righty. You guys have a
Dr.
great week.
Kimberly.
Stay safe.